Welcome to your two-piece ostomy pouching system change. What we're going to cover today is how to properly change and apply a two-piece pouching system to an ostomy patient. Before we get started, we always want to make sure that our supplies are all within arm's reach. Today, we have a sizing guide, a pen or marker, ostomy cutting scissors or medical scissors of some type, our barrier, as well as the corresponding pouch. We happen today, for example, have an ileostomy and colostomy drainable pouch, as well as a urostomy pouch with a spigot on the bottom. Always good to have tissue or gauze in case there is any output during the pouching change itself. So in order to get started, there are several things that we can do. We can either remove the entire pouching system itself or just the pouch. We'll start with just the pouch. So go ahead and always keep one hand down on the abdomen of the patient to make sure that you have pressure. Locate the release tab for the pouch and pull down and away from the body, making sure that you're not tugging on the barrier itself. Okay? If we're going to remove both together, instead of locating the release tab, we will put our hand down again and add pressure to the abdomen and peel the adhesive edge away from the body, again focusing on peeling down and away from the body. Should the adhesive itself be a little aggressive on the patient's skin and not want to release, we can utilize an adhesive remover wipe. In order to use this, we just run it along the adhesive in the patient's body, adding pressure with our finger, and again, peeling the appliance down and away from the body. Once we have removed that, we will place that in a trash receptacle that you have nearby. We will then utilize a tissue or gauze to clean around the patient's stoma and/or any output that might be on the patient's stoma. Be careful that there is nothing that you're using to clean the abdomen that has any type of residue or leaves the residue down on the skin that could impede the wear time of your barrier. Now comes a very important step. We want to make sure that we appropriately size the stoma. Sizing leads to the success in pouching systems. In order to size, we want to make sure that we are fitting the stoma as close as possible without choking the stoma itself. So once we have located the right size, we will trace that onto the back of our barrier. We always recommend tracing so that you are accurate in your cutting lines. If you notice on the back, there are cutting guidelines. If the stoma you are sizing goes beyond that, make sure that you pick the correct size barrier or go up a size in barrier so that you have ample amount of barrier left to go down on the skin. So we will cut along the traced edge. And after we take a look to make sure it will fit, we want to make sure that we are putting the barrier down vertical to the patient's body in the shape of a diamond. What that allows is more flexibility and the adhesive to go in the 9 and 3 o'clock locations, typically where you might find a belly crease. We'll remove the backing, and we strongly recommend, this is firm plastic, that you utilize this as a template for next time. Often, we recommend dating it so that you have confirmation of the last time the patient had their stoma sized. So after we line that up, butt it down against the bottom of the patient's stoma and up onto the abdomen. You will need to flip the barrier over and remove the liner while smoothing to prevent any wrinkles or bubbles to put the tape border edge down. Ostomy barriers are made to improve with time and with heat. So we recommend that you or the patient can put their hands around the stoma on the barrier for 10 to 20 seconds to warm it up slightly with body heat only. After we have that fit, we will put the pouch on. You always want to make sure you start by closing the pouch itself. This happens to be a Hollister lock and roll closure. We will roll this up to the body 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And we will take the security flap and firmly press it down and seal all the way across the bottom, so you can see that the pouch itself is closed. After that, we will use our fingers. This system happens to have a floating flange, so there is no post-op abdominal pressure required to secure the pouch to the barrier itself. We will take our fingers and slip it underneath the flange and securely snap these together between our fingers. You now have successfully removed and applied a 2-piece pouching system.